Listen up. You're here because the world out there, this relentless, screaming, modern chaos is tearing you apart. You feel it, don't you? That gnawing anxiety, that sense of being overwhelmed, adrift in a storm of uncertainty, noise, and endless demands. You're looking for an escape hatch, a magic pill for peace. Let me be brutally honest, there isn't one. Peace isn't some fragile flower you stumble upon in a quiet meadow. Peace, true unbreakable inner peace, especially in the heart of chaos, isn't found. It's forged, it's built, it's earned. It's an art, a discipline, a weapon you wield against the pandemonium of life. This isn't about hiding from the world. This isn't about pretending the chaos doesn't exist. This is about standing firm in the eye of the hurricane, unshaken, resolute, a bastion of calm in a sea of turmoil. This is the Stoic art of unbreakable inner peace. And today, I'm not going to coddle you with platitudes. I'm going to give you the hard truths, the raw principles, the actionable strategies to build that inner fortress, to cultivate a mind so strong, so resilient, that chaos itself bends to your will, or at the very least, ceases to shatter your core. If you're ready to stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the architect of your own indestructible serenity, then stay locked in. Because the war for your peace begins now, and you are about to be armed. The first pillar, the absolute bedrock of this Stoic art, is what I call the art of radical acceptance, embracing chaos as your forge. Now, don't mistake acceptance for weakness. Don't think for a second this means resignation or passivity. That's the coward's interpretation. Radical acceptance in the Stoic sense is an act of supreme strategic wisdom. It's recognizing with cold, hard clarity what you can control and what you absolutely, unequivocally cannot. The chaos out there, the economy, the political climate, the actions of other people, natural disasters, even your own past, much of it is outside your direct command. And the brutal truth is this: the vast majority of your suffering, your anxiety, your frustration, doesn't come from these external events themselves. It comes from your futile, energy-sapping resistance to them. It comes from wishing reality were different, from railing against the unchangeable. Think about it. You lose your job, the event itself is neutral, it's a fact. The suffering comes from the story you tell yourself. This is a catastrophe. I'm a failure. I'll never find another. You face a market crash. The numbers are just numbers. The panic comes from resisting the loss, from clinging to what was. A relationship ends. The ending is an event. The prolonged agony comes from refusing to accept that it's over, from replaying scenarios, from demanding a different outcome. Every day, you're bombarded with news, with opinions, with stressors that pull you in 1,000 directions. Resisting this constant barrage, trying to control every little piece of it, is like trying to hold back the ocean with a sieve. It's exhausting, and it's utterly pointless. Ignoring this principle of radical acceptance condemns you to a life of constant internal warfare. You become a perpetually frustrated, anxious wreck, a victim buffeted by every breeze of misfortune. You're always fighting, always tense, always on edge, because you're at war with reality itself. And that's a war you will never, ever win. But when you adopt radical acceptance, when you truly internalize the Stoic dichotomy of control, that ancient wisdom from Epictetus that draws a hard line between what's yours and what's not, something profound happens. You conserve your precious energy. You gain clarity. You stop wasting your strength on the unmovable and redirect it with laser focus onto what you can influence. Your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, your responses. This is where your power lies. So how do you cultivate this art? First, master the dichotomy of control. Make it your daily mantra. Before you react to anything, ask, is this within my control or outside of it? If it's outside, your job is to accept it as it is, like you accept the weather. You don't scream at the rain to stop. You grab an umbrella or decide to get wet. Apply that same logic to life's storms. Second, practice negative visualization or premeditatio malorum. This isn't about being pessimistic, it's about being prepared. Regularly contemplate potential setbacks, hardships, losses. Imagine things going wrong. By facing these possibilities in your mind, you strip them of their power to shock and overwhelm you when or if they occur. You're mentally rehearsing for chaos so it feels familiar, manageable. Third, use a journal. Every day list the things that caused you stress. Then rigorously categorize them. In my control, out of my control. This simple act trains your mind to see the distinction, to let go of the uncontrollable, and to strategize around what you can actually do. This isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about choosing a wise response over a reactive outburst. Accept the chaos, not as a defeat, but as the very environment in which your inner strength will be tempered and proven. Once you've laid the foundation of acceptance, you must construct your defenses. This brings us to the second pillar, the art of internal fortification, forging an invincible mind. Understand this. Your inner peace isn't just going to happen. It requires you to build an unbreachable fortress within your own consciousness. External chaos, no matter how intense, can only truly disturb you if your internal defenses are weak, if your mind is a house of straw. The brutal truth here is that your feelings, those powerful waves of emotion, are not objective facts. They are interpretations, judgments, reactions manufactured by your mind based on your beliefs and perceptions. And if those beliefs are flawed, if those perceptions are distorted, your interpretations will lead you straight to suffering. This is where you destroy weakness. This is where you annihilate negative thinking at its root. Think of the daily onslaught, criticism from your boss, a rude comment online, the fear of failure before a big presentation, the sting of rejection, the insidious whisper of self-doubt that tells you you're not good enough. These are not attacks on some external reality. They are incursions into your mental territory. If your mind is untrained, unguarded, you'll be emotionally reactive, swayed by every opinion, crippled by fear, fragile as glass. You'll live in a constant state of psychological vulnerability. That's not strength, that's a liability. But when you fortify your mind, you become resilient. You develop emotional stability. You cultivate an unshakable confidence that isn't dependent on external validation. You learn to observe your thoughts and feelings without being swept away by them. This is the essence of mental toughness. This is how you become unstoppable. How do you forge this invincible mind? First, master cognitive reframing. This is the practice of actively challenging and changing your negative thought patterns. When a negative thought arises, I can't handle this. This is too much. I'm going to fail, don't just accept it. Interrogate it. Is it true? What's the evidence? Is there another way to look at this situation? Reframe it from a disempowering thought into a neutral observation or even a challenge you're equipped to meet. For example, instead of "this project is overwhelming," try "this project is complex and requires me to break it down into manageable steps." Second, practice mindfulness and observation. This isn't about emptying your mind. It's about becoming aware of your mental processes without judgment. Learn to sit with uncomfortable thoughts and emotions without immediately reacting to them. See them as passing clouds, not as fundamental truths about who you are. This creates a space between stimulus and response, and in that space lies your power to choose. Third, arm yourself with Stoic affirmations, not the fluffy, feel-good kind, but hard-hitting self-commands that reinforce your agency and resilience. I choose my response. This difficulty is an opportunity to practice virtue. External events cannot harm my character, only my reaction can. This too shall pass, but my principles remain. Repeat them. Internalize them. Let them become the operating system of your mind. Finally, embrace voluntary discomfort. Deliberately expose yourself to minor, controlled hardships. Take cold showers. Try intermittent fasting. Push yourself physically. Sleep on the floor occasionally. Why? Because this trains your mind to tolerate discomfort, to understand that you can endure far more than you think. It builds calluses on your psyche, making you less susceptible to the inevitable discomforts of life. Your mind is a muscle. It strengthens with deliberate, challenging exercise. With a fortified mind, you need direction. Chaos breeds disorientation. Without a compass, you're lost. This leads us to the third pillar, the art of purposeful action, finding your North Star in the storm. Inner peace, the kind that withstands chaos, isn't a passive, meditative state achieved by retreating from the world. It's an active, dynamic equilibrium found in moving towards something meaningful, guided by your deepest values. The brutal truth is this: without a clear purpose, you are merely driftwood in the storm of life, tossed about by every wave, easily capsized by adversity. A life without direction is a life profoundly vulnerable to despair, boredom, and the insidious creep of nihilism. When chaos erupts, if you have no anchor, no why, you will be consumed. Look around you. So many are just going through the motions, chasing fleeting pleasures, accumulating things, all without a deeper sense of meaning. Then when crisis hits, a personal loss, a career upheaval, a societal disruption, they crumble. Their external props are kicked out and they find nothing substantial within. Purpose is your internal gyroscope. It keeps you stable and oriented, even when the world around you is spinning out of control. It gives you a reason to get up, to strive, to endure. It transforms suffering into a challenge, and obstacles into stepping stones. So how do you discover and harness this art of purposeful action? First, define your core values. What truly matters to you at the deepest level? For the Stoics, the supreme value, the sole good, was virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, temperance. Living in accordance with these virtues, regardless of external circumstances, was the ultimate purpose. What are your non-negotiables? Integrity, growth, contribution. Clarity on your values is the first step to finding your North Star. Second, set process-oriented goals, not just outcome-oriented ones. While having ambitions is good, an exclusive focus on outcomes you don't fully control breeds anxiety. Instead, focus on the daily actions, the habits, the effort that is within your control. Your purpose isn't just to reach the destination, it's to walk the path with excellence and integrity. Third, internalize memento mori, remember you will die. This isn't morbid, it's an incredibly powerful motivator. The awareness of your mortality injects urgency and clarity into your life. It sweeps away the trivial and forces you to confront what truly matters. If today were your last day, would you be proud of how you lived it? Use this to fuel purposeful action now. Finally, focus on your arete, the Greek concept of excellence, of fulfilling your highest potential, of being the best version of yourself you can be in every role you play. Your purpose is to strive for this excellence in your work, your relationships, your character. This striving, this constant effort to act with virtue and purpose, is itself a source of profound and stable inner peace, because it's entirely within your control, no matter how chaotic the world becomes. Now all this effort accepting reality, fortifying your mind, acting with purpose requires fuel. It requires an internal power source. This brings us to the fourth pillar, the art of energy sovereignty, mastering your inner state. Unbreakable inner peace is not sustainable if you are constantly depleted, drained, and running on empty. Chaos, by its very nature, is an energy drain. It bombards you with stimuli, demands your attention, and provokes emotional reactions. To stand firm, you must become the absolute sovereign of your own energy. You must learn to protect it, cultivate it, and direct it with conscious intent. The brutal truth here is that most people are leaking energy like a sieve. You leak energy every time you get sucked into pointless online arguments. You leak energy every time you doom scroll through negative news for hours. You leak energy when you allow toxic people to dictate your mood. You leak energy when you react emotionally to every minor annoyance without thinking. You leak energy through poor physical habits, lack of sleep, bad nutrition, no exercise. If you do not consciously manage your energy, the chaos of modern life will bleed you dry, leaving you burned out, chronically fatigued, emotionally unstable, and utterly incapable of coping, let alone thriving. Energy sovereignty means recognizing that your internal state, your vitality, your focus, your emotional reserves is your most precious resource. Protecting and cultivating it is not a luxury. It's a fundamental necessity for inner peace. When you are the master of your energy, you possess sustained vitality, mental clarity, emotional resilience, and the capacity to act decisively even when under pressure. How do you claim this sovereignty? First, set relentlessly strong boundaries. Learn to say no. Say no to demands on your time that don't align with your purpose. Say no to energy vampires who drain your positivity. Say no to engagements that leave you feeling depleted rather than uplifted. Your time and energy are finite. Guard them fiercely. Second, curate your information diet. You wouldn't eat garbage all day and expect to feel good. Why treat your mind any differently? Be ruthlessly selective about the news, social media, and content you consume. Unfollow, mute, block anything that consistently triggers negativity or anxiety. Choose information that empowers, educates, or inspires. Third, establish non-negotiable physical discipline. Your mind and body are interconnected. Optimal energy requires good sleep, nourishing food, and regular, challenging physical exercise. These are not optional add-ons. They are the foundational pillars of your vitality. Neglect them and your capacity for inner peace plummets. Fourth, deliberately cultivate silence and solitude. In the constant noise of modern life, you need regular periods of quiet to recharge, reflect, and recalibrate. Turn off the devices. Spend time alone with your thoughts. This is where you reconnect with yourself and replenish your inner reserves. Finally, learn basic breathwork. Your breath is a powerful, immediate tool for regulating your nervous system. When you feel stressed or overwhelmed, a few minutes of deep, controlled breathing can shift you from a state of fight or flight to one of calm and clarity. Master your breath, and you master a key to your inner state. Energy sovereignty is about taking radical responsibility for how you feel and function. We come now to a pinnacle of Stoic practice, a concept that may initially seem challenging, but which holds the key to profound, unshakable peace. This is the fifth pillar, the art of Stoic detachment, loving fate, conquering fear. True, unbreakable inner peace doesn't come from controlling every aspect of your life because you can't. It comes from a form of profound detachment, not cold indifference, but a liberating freedom from the tyranny of outcomes. It's about cultivating what the Stoics called amor fati, a love of fate. This means accepting, and even welcoming, whatever life throws your way, not because you're a masochist, but because you trust in your ability to respond with virtue and to extract value from any experience. The brutal truth is this: your desperate white-knuckled attachment to specific outcomes, getting that promotion, that relationship lasting forever, everything going exactly as planned, is a primary, if not the primary, source of your anxiety, your fear, and your suffering. You fear loss because you're attached to possessions or people. You fear failure because you're attached to a particular vision of success. You fear pain because you're attached to comfort. This attachment makes you fragile, easily broken by the inevitable uncertainties and disappointments of life. But when you practice Stoic detachment, when you embrace amor fati, you become fearless. You become unstoppable. Because if you can genuinely say, "This is what I needed," to every event, good or bad, if you can see every obstacle as a training ground for your character, then what is there to fear? Rejection, it's a redirection. Failure, it's a lesson. Loss, it's a reminder of impermanence and an opportunity to practice resilience. This isn't about not caring. It's about caring supremely about what truly matters: your character, your responses, your inner state, and letting go of your desperate need to control externals. How do you cultivate this profound art? First, actively practice amor fati. When something undesirable happens, don't just tolerate it. Actively seek to find the good in it, the lesson, the opportunity for growth. Ask yourself, how can I use this? How can this make me stronger, wiser, more virtuous? Frame it not as a setback, but as a necessary part of your journey. Second, internalize the Stoic archer analogy. The archer meticulously prepares, selects the best bow, the straightest arrow, aims with precision, and releases with skill. That is all within their control. But once the arrow leaves the bow, a gust of wind might divert it. The target might move. These things are outside the archer's control. The Stoic, like the wise archer, focuses intensely on their effort, their intention, their virtuous action, and then accepts the outcome, whatever it may be, with equanimity. Your job is to do your best, then let go. Third, regularly contemplate impermanence. Everything changes, everything passes. Your possessions, your relationships, your health, your very life, all are transient. Attachment to the impermanent is a guaranteed recipe for suffering. By meditating on this truth, you loosen your grip on things, allowing you to appreciate them while they're here, and to let them go with grace when they depart. Finally, build your inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius spoke of this, a mental fortress, a place of refuge within yourself that external events, no matter how tumultuous, cannot penetrate. This citadel is built from your principles, your reason, your commitment to virtue. It's the part of you that remains serene and untouched by the chaos outside. This detachment isn't about becoming unfeeling. It's about becoming unshakable. So there you have it, the Stoic art of unbreakable inner peace, forged not in quiet retreats but in the very heart of chaos. We've walked through the pillars, radical acceptance to embrace reality as your forge, internal fortification to build an invincible mind, purposeful action to find your North Star in the storm, energy sovereignty to master your inner state, and stoic detachment to love your fate and conquer fear. Understand this is not a checklist to be ticked off and forgotten. This is not a quick fix. This is a lifelong commitment, a continuous practice, the relentless forging of your character. The brutal truth remains, the world will not cease its clamor. Chaos will always be a feature of existence. Your peace, your serenity, your unshakable core, these depend entirely on the internal work you are willing to do. But the empowering truth is that you now possess the blueprint. You have the tools. The capacity for this profound, unbreakable inner peace resides within you, waiting to be cultivated, waiting to be unleashed. Stop waiting for the storm to pass. It won't. Learn to dance in the rain. Better yet, learn to be the calm eye of the storm. Your call to action is simple yet profound. Choose one principle from today, just one, and commit to practicing it starting now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, perhaps it's rigorously applying the dichotomy of control for the next 24 hours. Perhaps it's challenging one negative thought pattern. Perhaps it's defining one core value to guide your actions. Whatever it is, start. Take that first, decisive step. Stop being a passive victim of external chaos. Become its master through stoic strength, through disciplined thought, and through virtuous action. Don't just consume this information. Don't just nod along. Live these principles. Integrate them into the very fabric of your being. Forge your unbreakable inner peace brick by hard-won brick. The power is yours. The time is now. Go out there and build your fortress.